What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Daily for a Sunday. We're going to wrap it up here for another week of the show. Been a pretty up and down kind of week, I would describe it, but still in pretty good shape heading in to the last day. All right, this is what we normally do. Go over the Derby preps or recap the big races, maybe not always Derby preps. Let's talk about it. Let me start with the Withers. Can we skip it and go on to the next one?
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, so we'll skip the Withers. Let's go to the one that made the least amount of headlines, even though it was an amazing performance. Let's go to the Southwest.
Yeah.
Turning for home, the speed's backing up. Just Steel takes over, and I say on the stream, I think this horse is getting ready to look really good and win like a monster. And then all of a sudden, here comes little Mystic Dan up the rail. And not only does he win, Papa Dude, you can't even see the second place horse. No. A 101 buyer. Where did it come from?
I don't know. I did, of course, didn't watch it live because I went to some basketball games. And anyway, as soon as I got home late last night and watched it, and I saw the track before they ever ran, I said, okay, it's muddy at Oaklawn. Mm-hmm. Anything can happen. Mm-hmm. Isn't that the way it usually is? I mean, that track is so screwed up when it's muddy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching it just like you, and I'm thinking, I think the horse is going to win.
Yeah.
And then it did exactly what you predicted it would do. It gets there and stops.
Well, so when Just Steel turned for home, I was just like, you idiot. You knew he was going to run big. You knew he was gonna get a good setup. Yeah. You knew Carbone was not going to be able to do it, and you picked him anyway. You're so dumb. And then I see Mystic Dan, and I'm like, no, you had it right. You had him in second. You knew Just Steel, he was going to run well. You knew somebody would beat him. But Mystic Dan was unbelievable. I mean, that's kind of disrespectful to Just Steel. He ran a pretty darn good race, but
he smoked them all.
He was awesome. I mean,
he just left them in the mud. It's not
Stillman.
The dust.
Ryan Stillman came on after the show, and they were like, well, forget about for horses that could earn Derby points, who was the most impressive? And I think Jared said Hades, and I was like, are you what? Mystic Dan was the most. He was incredible in that race. I don't know if he can do it again, but he was incredible in that race. Yeah. I was just like, wow, guys, like, yeah, you may have thought that field sucked going in, and maybe Mystic Dan never does that again, but that was amazing. And
for one day he ran extremely well.
He was awesome.
Oh, he was. I mean, it was just like a rocket.
Yeah, I know. Liberal Arts. I definitely think Liberal Arts may have been the second best horse in the race that day, or yesterday, I should say. Just Steel just barely held him off, and Liberal Arts, very, very tough trip. He ran very well. He's another one, though. Slop really has elevated him in the past, so maybe that would happen. And Mark, I definitely got Dash Attack vibes with Mystic Dan. The only kind of difference is when Dash Attack was winning those races in the slop at Oaklawn, he still wasn't running like crazy numbers or times. Mystic Dan was like, holy shit, like that was a nutty time. So crazy. Let's move on though, because what else do you really talk about other than him after that race? But let's go to the horse that cannot earn Kentucky Derby points, but was clearly the best horse, at least running yesterday. Nysos. Mm-hmm. Holy cow. 105 buyer. He passed the horses like they weren't even running. I would say tied to the pole, but that doesn't even give it justice. I literally was watching the two front horses and scanned back to see what Nysos was doing, and Nysos was already past the two front horses. I was like, where did he go? So, I mean, thoughts on that one?
And he walked across the finish line pretty much.
Oh, that's the other thing. Like he hit a 105 buyer and like he was in a chokehold. Yeah. Up the finish line.
Yeah. About 100 yards from the finish line. Okay. We got this puppy dog. Let's forget it. Yeah, that's the bad part about it. Obviously, from yesterday, the much better horse of anybody, and the one we'd all like to see down the road in the Derby's not going to be there. He was awesome. Yeah, and I saw some comments. Well, the field was terrible. Yeah. Well, he can only run against the horses that are in the field, and he's smoking.
Yeah, two things, and the field was bad, and because we had people on there. Well, what did you expect him to do? Well, I don't know. I didn't expect him to go from like fourth to first in a half of a second.
No.
Sure. And look, you can't beat anybody if you don't face anybody. And he entered a Kentucky Derby prep race at his
That's
home.
right. That's right.
Hey, I think Fierceness would have taken it, right? If we're going to go on to that one next. Fierceness wasn't facing anybody either. And you know what happened? He got third.
That's right. And a bad third. A bad third.
So Hades wins the Holy Bull and earns, if you haven't seen it, an 85 buyer wins the Holy Bull. Now, for reference, Fierceness ran a 105 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He ran a 95 in his first ever race. That's 10 points better than Hades. He runs a 79. He was ranked early. He settled pretty well up the backside. He's turning for home like he's going to win. He quit so bad. It was unbelievable. 79 buyer. Man, what a disaster that was for him. What were your thoughts on the Holy Bull?
What do you do if you're a trainer? How do you figure that out? What do you you can't ask the horse, say, what's wrong with you?
I really don't know. Because okay, when you look at him coming into this race, 95 on debut, very good, very, very good.
Yeah,
obviously. Okay, it was a really sloppy day at Belmont, so I think a lot of people are like, well, that track was really sloppy. Maybe that was the problem because he comes back on a fast track really, really good again. Mm-hmm. There's no excuse here. Like, the track was perfect. He was facing horses where he could run, obviously, way less than his best and still win the race. I don't know what you do with him. It's unbelievable.
I don't either. I don't know what a trainer does. I mean, you don't run him if he isn't ready. So they obviously thought he was ready, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was just awful. Yeah. I guess some days you are, but what do you do with him next?
I don't know. I guess you just keep entering him and hope. I mean,
yeah.
That's about all you could do at this point.
He's shown he's really good. So sometimes they throw a clunker out there, but
yeah,
man, that was not a good field. It was there to be taken.
Well, that's the thing. He could have just what should have happened if Fierceness was on his best.
Yeah.
As soon as he got next to Hades, just shake him twice, and he would have taken off and won by 2 or 3 under wraps. I mean, that really, and that's kind of what it looked like was going to happen. And then he just faltered. Hades kind of came out on him a little bit. And if you watch the head on, Hades is like twice the size of him. And I don't know if he kind of intimidated him or what, but if you watch, like, they had like a drone shot, like the overhead stuff. It was like that horse just said, nope. He literally, it's like a car slamming on the brakes. He just stopped and said, go take it. And, all credit to those who picked Hades to win the race. Great cash. And I'm not taking anything away from that. And it doesn't matter if Hades got a 27 buyer. If you cash the ticket, you were right that day.
Yeah, you don't care.
No, but he certainly. So the last thing here, Shadi said, are the times correct? Have they said anything about the time? They haven't said anything. I have not heard anything. The time of the Holy Bull was almost a second and a half slower than any running ever at 1 1/16. It literally was one of the worst Holy Bulls. If the time is correct, it was the worst Holy Bull ever. Now, I seriously doubt they ran the 1 1/16 at Gulfstream at 1:46 and change. It's almost unfathomable. And this is not exaggeration. A $5,000 claimer would probably run a similar time. And again, I just can't think that that's right, but we will see. We will see it. And that's kind of my final thought, Kevin. It did look very slow. It didn't look 1:46 and change slow. That's like mountaineer type shit. Like, I mean, it really, and I'm not trying to be an asshole because, again, I don't think it's correct, but if it is correct, holy cow, that's crazy. So, any final thoughts there?
I don't think we learned anything yesterday.
Well, as far as the Kentucky Derby goes, no.
No.
I think my takeaway is I don't know if Mystic Dan can do that again. If they run up on a fast track and he does that again, he's a big time player, but I'm skeptical of that.
Well, my takeaway is McPeak does this every year at Oaklawn.
Yeah.
He has one, and they don't get better.
Mm-hmm.
We see this a lot.
Yeah.
So,
real quick before I move on to my takeaway, Dryo says Fierceness will win the Florida Derby. I mean, would we be surprised?
Do what?
Would we be surprised if Fierceness won the Florida Derby? I wouldn't.
No, you don't give up on him yet.
You've seen it. You've seen it in him. But where my problem is going to be with him, he's going to be really hard to take any kind of a short price on to win again.
Well, after that performance, yes.
Well, you've got a body of 4 races now, and you just see he's all or nothing type of horse. So people were talking about, I think, he may have ran worse yesterday than he did on that Champagne, and I kind of agree. So
that was bad yesterday. So that was for the taking. There's no excuses. There are none.
Yeah.
He should have done what Nysos done. Did.
Should have. I mean,
he had the opportunity.
Yeah. So takeaways again, nothing from the Withers. Mystic Dan, we'll see if he can do that again. Nothing from the Holy Bull. Obviously, you can't even talk about the Derby when it comes to anything out of Santa Anita. If Baffert's got all those horses, by the way, if Baffert could train, or could run in the Derby, he might have the top 2 or 3 ranked horses this week. But anyway, I think my biggest thing is Risen Stars in a couple of weeks. We do have the Sam F. Davis with Locked coming up this week. Yeah. Steve Asmussen at this time kind of holds the strongest hand.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. It's February. I kept telling the guys yesterday, they were freaking out. I was like, it's the first Saturday in February, guys. It is so
close to
it is so far away from the Derby. Quit overreacting all this stuff. But as of right now, Asmussen holds a very strong hand.
Yeah, but you're right. Why are we panicking? It's not even close. We haven't run hardly anything yet.
Yeah. I mean, Jared's texting me this morning. I just can't get excited about the sport. It's like, what are you even talking about? Like,
it's not even.
We're 1 week removed from a great day, and like, it's like, your bets didn't come in. Big deal. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, there was nothing yesterday that made me think, boy, I question everything about this. It was a fine day.
Southwest. Does anything ever come out of the Southwest?
Not really. No.
It's the Rebel. That's the big one at Oaklawn, the big prep race. Yeah. So
I'm with you, Pedlo. I had a lot of fun yesterday. I thought it was great.
I did too, but I wasn't watching the races, but I had fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, Pedlo says, hope the drive went well. Aaron, it was pouring all the way from Oklahoma City to Tulsa. That drive.
I hate the in between there. Yeah.
It's hard to see anyway.
Yeah.
And there's trucks all over the place, and everybody was slowing down. I didn't think I was ever going to get to the Hard Rock Casino through Tulsa. From once you get there, then on to Joplin's pretty easy. But man, it was tough driving home. It really was.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. It definitely is that stretch.
Ugh.
I hate that stretch.
Yep.
Hate that stretch. So even when it's not raining, it sucks. Yeah. Well, usually I hate it because we're coming home to a OU football game and the traffic is terrible on it. So
well, it was a lot of traffic though last night. I didn't think it'd be that bad.
Yeah. It's that's surprising. That is very surprising. Yeah. All coming back to Joplin after the basketball game, I guess.
All 50 of us.
I have a specialist appointment on Tuesday, and I'll have more information on what I can do coming up. So we'll see what happens. All right. Let's get to the bets today. That was enough recap of those races in the rearview mirror now. All right. Purdue, Wisconsin. That's a big game today. This is right up your alley, Papa Dude. Purdue -2.5 here at Wisconsin. Wisconsin coming off a loss in overtime at Nebraska. Can they rebound and beat Purdue today?
I would like them a lot better had they not lost that game at Nebraska. Even though Nebraska's good, it's not a bad loss. To beat this Purdue team, you got to be pretty good. And I think they are. I think Purdue, they lose games like this sometimes. It's a really tough game for me to pick. Like I said, I'd be all over Wisconsin had they beat Nebraska.
Mhm.
I think they do bounce back. Now, Purdue almost got beat the other night, too, to Northwestern, and that was at home. If I was going to bet it, I would take Nebraska or I would take Wisconsin. I would. I just think Purdue's begging to get beat. They lose these kind of games sometimes. I've watched them a little bit. They can shoot the ball better this year than they have in the past. But these are games they kind of lose. So I would take Wisconsin if I was going to bet it, but I'm going to stay away from it.
Give me Wisconsin. I'm taking Wisconsin as well. I think they're going to bounce back. These conferences like the Big 10, Big 12, ACC, man, it is just war every time these teams go at it. So give me Wisconsin at home. Now, speaking of Nebraska, they put off some big wins at home. They go on the road against Illinois today. Illinois is a 10.5-point favorite here at home. I don't think we're going to see an outright upset, but can Nebraska keep it close was kind of my thought on this one. What do you think about this game?
I think this line's way too big. I do.
I do too.
I think they can keep it close. They're pretty good. Illinois, sometimes they win. They're really good, but they don't cover that. That's a lot of points in a conference game against a really good team. So, yeah, I think Nebraska plus 10.5 is the way to play that. By the way, Mark asked me, Mark, I just saw it. Is it possible that Gonzaga is not going to make the tournament this year?
Mm-hmm.
That we're going to find out what name means because they don't really deserve to be in there at this point because they lost last night at home to St. Mary's, and St. Mary's is really good. And there's some other good teams in that league as well. So at this point, I don't think they do belong, but there's a lot of season to go.
Yeah.
And I think they'll play St. Mary's again. I think they play them twice in the regular season. I think they got a home and home in that league, and then they'll get them in the tournament. So I wouldn't write them off yet, but they're not near as good as they have been.
Yeah. Yeah. So you like Nebraska in this one? I'm going to take Nebraska plus the points as well. I'm with you. One game, and I almost put this up here. Youngstown State versus Purdue Fort Wayne is a must-watch game for a must-watch game for college basketball junkies. I literally almost put this up here. It's a close line, two really good teams. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
Fort Wayne is really tanking it. They have lost like 6 out of 7. So, yes, I like Youngstown State in the 4.5 in this one. I think Fort Wayne is going in the wrong direction. Youngstown State's playing pretty well. So I would take the Penguins, the Youngstown State Penguins. How about that at minus 4.5?
All right. You're going to take Youngstown State in that game. I got you. All right. We got to do one NBA game because I love it so much. And we do the Jazz every time they play. So we got to do the Jazz. Bucks and the Jazz in Utah. Jazz minus 1.5. This one total sitting 246.5.
This is telling me that Giannis isn't going to play.
Me too.
So I never bet an NBA game when I don't know whether the guy's going to play or not. They should not be underdogs. They are better than Utah. So something's going on there. I didn't look at it. I didn't look it up because I saw the 1.5 and I said there's something fishy going on here. So I didn't bet it. I would still take the Bucks even if he doesn't play.
Take the Jazz. Utah. Going to be tough today. Tough on a Sunday in Utah. You kidding me? Take the Jazz. All right. Race of the day. Oaklawn Park. We're in the mud again today. It's an allowance for Archie-breds. Race 8. That's why I did it. Allowance for Archie-breds. Oh, wait a second. Did I say race 8 or race 9 this morning?
You said race 9.
Race 9. I wrote that down wrong. I was like, why did I do that? Hold on.
I was going to say.
Race 9. I was allowance for Archie-breds. Like, I'm not doing that. Okay.
I'd gladly switch to race 8 if you want to.
No. Race 9. We're in the mud today. Mile 16th allowance race. Field of 6. We did get a scratch here. So the 7 did scratch out of the race. Leaves us with a field of 6. Papa do you like the 9th today at Oaklawn?
Well, I see the 7 scratch, like you said. That's good. Even though I wasn't going to bet the horse. The horse obviously has injury issues. Hadn't run since May, was scratched before that. So Not gonna, I did like the form or the way he had run before, but I'm glad he scratched. Man, I'm having trouble on this one. I'm gonna go with number 2 for one reason. Think he's gonna get the lead, and I think he's gonna get it by himself. And I don't know whether they can catch him. I don't think he's that good. He did win here last time out, so he's got to win over the track. Uh, doesn't win often, likes to finish second, but I think he's going to get the lead and he's going to go wire to wire and win it. So I'm going to go with the 2, Windy Bay.
All right, Windy Bay for you. I got that horse in second. I think it's a pretty good pick right there. I went number 1. One more, Kelly. It's McPeak's world. We're just living in it.
Yeah,
he's hot right now. You've seen him. When McPeak gets hot, he'll win a bunch and then he'll go cold for 2 months. But I think one more, Kelly. Look, the big thing with got a race over the track, 1 on a sloppy track, 3 races back. So this horse has form on the slop. So I'm going to give McPeak the shot here with the number 1. One more, Kelly. All right, let's get to the best bets. Magic's not here. He did send one in. He's going to go Golden Gate, race 4, number 1, Workday. Let me pull up what he said here. He said, go watch the replay of the last race. If the jockey hadn't dropped the crop in the stretch, the horse would have won. The jockey knew it too. He screamed at himself as he got nailed right at the wire. And look who's riding now, a new and better jockey. Golden Gate race 4. Give me the number 1, Workday. All right. Let's go to mine here. I'm going to go Gulfstream Park today. Race 7, the number 4, One Sharp Cookie for mine. Gulfstream, obviously yesterday, you might be thinking, God, it played weird. What's going on? Well, there's favorites that won too. Those favorites that lost did not run very well. So I'm not worried about how the track's playing. Last time out was the second start for this horse. Ran very well, almost won. It got beat 3/4 of a length when stretching out to a mile for the first time. Second time going a mile now. Who's going to challenge this horse on the lead? I just don't see anybody. And I think if he gets out in front, he's going to be very tough to catch. So in race 7 at Gulfstream, I'm going to take the number 4, One Sharp Cookie. All right, Papa Dude, tell us who you like today.
Well, somebody said don't bet the NBA. Look who's I've got up here as my best bet of the day. I don't bet the NBA a whole lot. I like the Thunder tonight at home. -8.5 is a little dicey. It's kind of like the NFL, those point spreads, 8.5 in the NBA. It's kind of dicey. They're playing the Raptors, who lost by 29 last time out in Houston. If OKC brings their A game, this is a lock. It's a lock. I really believe that. I think they win and cover with their B+ game. So if the Thunder shoot the ball right and they're ready to go, I think they cover this one easy. Besides that, I want to watch it and root for them. So I'm taking one of my favorite teams, and they're gonna come through for me. I like the Thunder at -8.5 tonight over a very bad Toronto team.
It's pretty incredible. The Thunder they are so fun to watch. They were really fun to watch last year. Honestly, towards the end of that season, they were one of the better teams out there. And I just think, I like it. I'll be watching this one as well. I'm with you. Oklahoma City Thunder -8.5. Let's go. I can't wait. Yeah. Oh, 2 things. Well, you know what? I'll read out the best bets, and I want to mention 2 things about Oklahoma City to you. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'll read off the best bets here. Golden Gate, I'm going to go Gulfstream Park, race 7, number 4, One Sharp Cookie. Magic is going to be the one. Golden Gate, race 4, number 1, Workday. And Papa Dude's going Oklahoma City, -8.5. We're 6-3 for the week. Up a big $5, Papa Dude. But we're still up 1,000. What's that?
Better than being down.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're still up $1,685 for the year. Let's see. Kevin B says, what's going on with OU basketball? They're in most games, but struggle to close out in the second half. We can't shoot away from home, says Pedlo. We really are not great shooters at home sometimes as well. It's
a problem. The Big 12 is part of the issue. It's extremely difficult to win in the Big 12. I think the main issue is they don't have a star. They don't have somebody that's going to be there every night. And you got to have one if you're going to be elite in the Big 12. And I think there's a lot of pressure on them. I don't think they're quite talented enough. I think they play their butts off sometimes. Other times they don't. I was very disappointed yesterday. That's a game they needed really bad. But you know what? Kansas went in there and got their ass beat too. So that's a tough trip to Orlando. I'm not making excuses. I thought they would win that game. I did.
Yeah, I think they have good players. They have much better players than they've had. They don't have a shit's going wrong. We got to get the ball to this guy.
Yeah.
He's going to calm us down type. They just don't have it. And so, when they get in trouble, it kind of snowballs on them. And I think that's what happened yesterday. They were okay and they're playing all right. And then they don't really have that guy that's going to come back and answer you.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what they're missing. And that's really been what they've been missing the whole time Moser's been there. But they've got better athletes, better players this year. So it helps,
They do. And that league, I'm telling you, we're seeing upsets all over the place. I mean, my best bet yesterday, I can't believe Tech didn't win. I mean, I just was shocked. I didn't know if they'd cover 4, but I thought they'd win. It shocked me.
It should be beneficial to all these teams when they get to the tournament.
If they're not wore out, that's the thing.
But, Oklahoma would be like a 6 maybe.
They're going to have to win some games first.
They're going to be dangerous. Like, they can beat teams.
They can.
Right? Like, they've went toe-to-toe with the best. So it's just a matter of
they're going to be seasoned. The thing about these Big 12 teams, this is such a grind. By the time you get to March, you're just wore out. I mean, you've got to go through this every game. There is no game that's a gimme.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Like Kevin, if OU was an 8 or 9 and they won and they drew
Purdue.
I'm just going to say Purdue because that's the thing you say.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma could beat them. Now they could also get their ass kicked, but the point I'm trying to make is if it's not like Duke, North Carolina, like the basketball, Kentucky, like basketball schools that Oklahoma will be scared of, they can match up. They could beat a team like that. Yeah. But
and Arizona, if they were number 1 seed.
Right.
They're not going to be though.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. I don't know. It's a tough place to get over the hump. How about that?
Well, and to be honest, their home atmosphere isn't as good as a lot of these other
pathetic.
teams. And that's why they lose games at home sometimes too. So
it's absolutely pathetic and it's a disgrace. And I'll say that till I die.
2 things.
There are no. Go ahead.
2 quick things. We got to get out of here, but 2 quick things. Have you seen? This is more of a dude soup at sports convo, so maybe people will leave. But have you seen? They have proposed to build the largest skyscraper in the country at Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
How interesting is that?
I don't know, but no knock on the Oklahoma City skyline because it's impressive. But this thing is not going to look like it fits.
It's going to look
That's
fake.
the first thing I thought. That thing is going to be funny looking.
It's going to look fake. And two comments here. No chance that happens, right? I guess not. I mean, it's like, I don't know what's going to be in it. How can you feel it? And can you imagine being in a tornado when in that building? I mean, it just would be, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense, but it would be crazy. It'd be very crazy.
Pedlo ought to know more than anybody on this.
Yeah.
Because he's big time. He may have an office in it,
Yeah. I mean,
he
probably is going to have the top office if they build that.
Him and Toby Keith, I think will be right there. Yeah.
Well, if you've never been to downtown Oklahoma City, there's like a section of it that's nice and kind of vibrant and people are around.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That like old part of like Bricktown. Holy shit. Have you been down? There's nothing there. Like we went down there. It's been 2 or 3 years ago. So let's go down to Bricktown and we'll eat before we go to the OU game. It was a game you didn't want to go to. And Heather went. There wasn't any restaurants. It's like, I guess we're going to go to the Sonic or Toby Keith over here because, I mean, it was sad. Anyway, I don't know how that fits in downtown Oklahoma City, but it's kind of cool. And the Thunder, the other things, the Thunders, they are going to get a new building, and that's going to be great. They need it. So,
yeah. In the city of Oklahoma City, that city is on the move. They knew they were going to lose the Thunder if they didn't pass this issue or whatever it was. And listen, they passed it overwhelmingly because they know how important it is to have a big time franchise in your city. It just makes you better.
Yeah.
And they passed it. But Dennis, Pedlo's big time.
He is big time. He's
big
a big time guy. Yep.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, fancy roller.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
And listen,
well,
if you're in Oklahoma, you got to know him.
Yep.
He'll get you where you need to be.
I just mentioned the name Pedlo to the people we sit by, and then, oh yeah, we know Pedlo.
Hey, I was in a restaurant last night in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I said, "Do you know Pedlo?" And they go, "Yeah." "You talking about the Pedlo that hangs out with Toby Keith?" I said, "Yes."
Yeah. The Pedlo. Yeah.
If we could only believe you.
Yeah. No. Listen, when we were at the Breeders' Cup, Pedlo texted said, "Yeah, I'm coming." And then we saw a helicopter. It landed on in the infield. And out came Pedlo. There he was. Like, okay.
He is a good guy.
No, Pedlo's the best.
He is.
Yeah, we've met a lot of nice people. He's on the list now. He's on the list. So
yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Like I said, if you like convos like this, come to Dudes Who Bet Sports. We'll talk about sports for like 30 minutes, and then we'll talk about this kind of stuff.
Especially this time of the year, now that football's over.
I've been thinking we have the Super Bowl
topics.
We have the Super Bowl to talk about for the show Thursday. And then there's no telling what we might talk about on Thursday.
No, there's not.
I've got a subject I'm dying to talk about, but Thursday could be the show for it. So we'll see.
Is it still having to do with Oakland?
Yes.
I know you have been dying to talk about that.
I've been dying to talk about the Oakland A's. So
yeah.
Do you know what Discord is, Papa Dude?
I've heard of it.
I
don't know how to use it.
Okay.
I'm a busy man.
I will try to get him on it, guys. I'm going to need his phone. I'm going to have to download the app. I'll get it set up to where he can just click on it and then he can get on.
I have to do it on the phone?
I mean, that's what I guess you could do at other places. I don't know.
I only do it on the laptop.
You guys tell me if you could do it on the laptop. I'm really not sure. I don't know. I've only done it with the phone. I'm sure you probably could, but yeah. All right. Well, that's it.
No, I've heard of it because I've seen it on here.
That's why you've heard of it. Yes, exactly. Yes. You hadn't heard of it until then.
No, I've seen it on there before. I've heard you guys talking about it before.
Okay. Sylvia's on there. And I'm sorry, Dennis is on there too, but the laptop sucks, but you can use it. So you can.
My phone sucks though.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Yeah. No, I think you could download the app, but your screen's in a million pieces.
I've got to have more information. I just don't. Okay. I don't stick my neck out very often. So I've got to know if I'm going to get ridiculed or.
No, it's fun.
Which I'm used to.
No, you won't get ridiculed on there.
I teach school, so.
Well, you'll get ridiculed by Rodney, but that's it.
No, I don't give a shit about him. What do you do? What is it?
No, it's fun. It's just all of us are on there and we just talk about the races and stuff. And there's other stuff on there too.
Okay.
Yeah, Dennis is right. It's like Twitter, but it's with people you actually, there's nothing, nobody's mad about things or upset about things. We're just talking about what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. Anybody else, join it. I think you guys will like it. It's fun. So.
Okay.
All right. Okay, we're gonna get off here. Wife's hungry. We got to go eat. All right, guys. We will talk to you next week. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks as always for joining us, and we'll see you next week.